March is going to end on a very wet, windy, and cold note across the western half of Europe as a massive storm moves in from the Atlantic. On the contrary, the eastern half of Europe should experience abnormally warm and mostly dry conditions. In this forecast, I'll break down the timing and details about this weather pattern to end the month, so with that being said, let's begin. Starting off with the satellite imagery, there's a couple things to take note of. Firstly, we have widespread cloud cover from Central Europe down into the Balkans, and that's the remnants from a pair of storm systems which moved into Europe last week into the weekend. Further west over Ireland and the United Kingdom, a low pressure system is currently situated over the region. This storm will be heading south and east over the next day or so, bringing a significant temperature drop, especially over the Iberian Peninsula and eventually northern Africa. Here's that same system visible on the precipitation overview. By tonight, widespread rain showers and maybe some lightning flashes will spread across Portugal and Spain, reaching Morocco by tomorrow. Along with the precipitation, colder air and strong winds are also expected, and then shortly thereafter the system is actually going to join forces with that cutoff low which has sat around to the southwest of Iberia for several days, and this will help it grow in size, reaching France, Italy, and the Adriatic Sea by Tuesday. But this is when the interesting part happens. Let's zoom out so I can show you exactly how this massive storm I keep alluding to will come about. If you look towards Greenland, you'll notice a storm system sliding over the region, and as it continues to move eastward, it's going to reach this system over Western Europe by tomorrow afternoon. In what seems like a blink of an eye, those storms are going to coalesce, causing an even larger storm to develop, which will basically create an even larger system by Wednesday afternoon. If the barometric pressure falls as quickly as the current weather model guidance is suggesting, we may even see this system classified as a bomb cyclone. So now that we have this large system spinning over Western Europe by midweek, what's going to happen next? Well, not much of anything, honestly. As we push this forward to March 28th, the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st, and dare I say the beginning of April, it doesn't really budge. It almost seems like these storms were eager to coalesce and become a massive storm system, but once they're here, they're not going to be in any rush to move along. This is of course having an impact on your 10-day precipitation outlook. Parts of Morocco, Portugal, Spain, and France are under those yellow, orange, and even red shades, which represent anywhere between 50 and 150 millimeters of precipitation. Due to those high precip totals, please also be aware of the risk of flooding. Your local weather services will issue alerts if they're needed. More of the same can be expected as far east as the Adriatic Sea, but the main difference is that most of this precipitation will fall within the next 3 days. Further north, precipitation will be a little bit lighter overall, but even still, some locations like southern Scandinavia, Ireland, and the United Kingdom could see some higher totals. As colder air comes in with these storms, snowfall is going to be another thing to watch out for, especially for the higher terrain. Some of the heaviest mountain snow is forecasted across parts of Morocco, Iberia, and the Alps. The UK and Ireland should see mostly rainfall, but snow is possible in the higher ground, especially in Scotland. Lastly, Scandinavia can expect quite a bit of snowfall, especially from southern Norway into Sweden, as the large Atlantic storm feeds moisture into the region. Continuing our discussion about precipitation, I've updated my forecast through March 31st, and this is going to give you a general idea of where to expect the wettest and driest conditions. As we would expect, wetter than average conditions are forecasted from North Africa all the way to the Nordic countries and as far east as the Balkans. The green shades around the Black Sea is because of another storm system which is currently moving through. The dark green is where the heaviest precipitation is expected, and that includes parts of Morocco, Iberia, southern Scandinavia, and a few countries around the Adriatic Sea. Then some of the driest conditions can be expected along much of Norway's coast, Iceland, Central Europe into Russia, and many other areas around the Mediterranean. Moving on to temperatures, cooler than average conditions are expected mainly in Western Europe, from Iceland all the way down to Northwest Africa, and that can be blamed on that massive storm system coming in. For basically everyone else, temperatures are expected to run above average, and possibly far above the historical average, across much of the eastern half of Europe. One last thing before I do bring this forecast to a close, I just wanted to show you this very interesting and unique graphic, which overlays precipitation on this temperature map. As I show you these maps, take note of the correlation between the lack of low pressure and well above average temperatures in the east, and the cooler than average temperatures with wet conditions out west. Starting off today, Monday, March 25th, we have some cooler air in Central Europe behind that system which has moved through, with milder conditions for many other areas. By Wednesday, we see that massive storm system already in place across Western Europe, causing cooler temperatures to return, while areas further east start getting a plume of warmth surging north. And I would also like to mention that as this warm air does surge northward, I would expect some Saharan dust to mix in with this very warm air as well, so make sure you keep that in mind. This will be a trend that continues and perhaps gets more pronounced by the last few days of March, as you can see here on this graphic valid on March 30th. That's going to be all for this video. I hope you enjoyed this detailed breakdown of the weather pattern we can expect going through the rest of the month. If you would like to receive more updates on the situation, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, as well as the notification bell. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.